Good afternoon, family, and welcome to today's Terms of the Day. It's 5/20/20, and it is I, Kurt Romer, your intrepid instructor. A reading from today's Holy Automotive Gospel, CDX Automotive. Corinthians 12:24. I'm inventing that. Adjustable bushing, adjusting nut, and adjustment sleeve. All things you can adjust. Starting off with adjustable bushing, a brace or nylon part that pushes against the rack to adjust the mesh of the rack teeth to the pinion teeth. Adjusting nut, the nut used to adjust the end plate or preload of a wheel bearing. Adjustment sleeve, a component that connects the tie rods together and to the center link on some applications. It provides the adjustment point for toe in or toe out depending on the manufacturer's specifications. Now, I'll explain to the congregation. I feel like I need to wear one of those little things with the... Oh, wait. We're going to giggle. You ready? Hold on. This is going to be funny. We all get to talk about it. Good. There. No, it doesn't look good. I got to get the flaps down. Maybe, I know what I need to do. I'll reduce that even more. Give it a good curl. There we go. Father Romer. The alarm went off. Five-minute snooze. Perfect. A reading from our horsepower gospels. Gospels. How horsepower gospels. Adjustment bushing. Okay, this one's pretty cool, right? We all know bushings. A brace or a nylon part that pushes the rack to adjust the mesh of the rack teeth to the pinion teeth. So the pinion teeth are at the end and the rack goes left and right underneath it. The adjustable bushing is a nylon part that pushes the rack up into the teeth. Now the teeth need to be a little bit of adjustable. So as you turn your steering wheel, there's a little bit of end play. There's a little bit of slack. But to pick that slack up so it's not sloppy is you have adjustable bushings that you put underneath the rack to adjust your rack and pinion. So that's one way you can pick up the slack. This thing is really funny looking on me. There we go. Right up in there. It's not going. There. Something like that. There. So the adjusting nut, we've all worked with adjusting nuts. You use to adjust the end plate or preload of a wheel bearing. Some of us haven't. Some of you haven't. So the adjusting nut, or what I would call a wheel bearing retaining nut, is used when you screw on a bearing onto a sleeve. You want to be able to compress whatever is going on around it You compress it too much and you seize up the wheel bearing. Too loose and whatever's on the wheel bearing wobbles about. You have to tighten it up, and you go to usually a torque load, a torque level, and that torque level is specified in whatever paperwork comes with the part, whatever's specified in the original manufacturer's manufacturing tables. They'll have done all of that stuff. They'll have figured out what torque values are for that adjusting nut that's used to adjust the end plate or preload of a wheel bearing. And last but not least, the adjustment sleeve component that connects tie rods together in the center link on some applications, providing the adjustment point for toe in and toe out, depending on the manufacturer's specifications. So outside of the adjustment bushing, which lifts the steering rack above its mounting point on usually a frame rail or the connecting point between two frame rails, there's a center bar behind the motor or in front of the motor. It's in that zone, depending on whether you're front-wheel drive or wheel-wheel drive vehicle or all-wheel drive vehicle. That steering rack will sit on the cross member, and your steering wheel input bar with its attendant has universal joints. It's got a rag joint on it, things like that, in order so that the steering wheel can get around the exhaust manifolds or maybe make the right angles down to the steering rack. In order for all of that to line up, and then the steering rack to have enough tooth-to-tooth engagement, you're going to use some adjustable bushings to get that steering rack meshed. And usually, a lot of times, that brace, it's nylon. It gets rid of NVH, and that is noise, vibration, or harshness from the road transmitting up through the steering rack. So to isolate that rack, that rack and pinion steering rack, with nylon keeps NVH low, but still providing a firm mounting location. The adjustment sleeves and different adjusting nuts we've done when we're working under the Hunter and we're trying to get cars, toe in or toe out. You have two locking nuts. You want to unlock the nuts from each other. And what we spin is the adjustment sleeve, sort of. Adjusting sleeves, I'm just giving you the idea. Specifically, adjusting sleeves is a pipe with threads on the inside on both sides, so that when you spin it one way, it draws in the threaded whatever retaining items, whether they're nuts or eyelets or hooks or tabs with holes drilled in them. Whatever the end pieces are, it's that sleeve that rotates that brings in or pushes out the threaded end pieces. So those are our three adjustable things that we have today that we talk about. Praise be to horsepower and for the love of torque. There's a t-shirt out there. That's what I reminded myself of. I'm going to find that t-shirt that has the mechanics or the car racer's prayer. And it has to do with like horsepower and we pray for grip. And we love torque and the sound of horsepower. It's a really good t-shirt. I'm going to go find it. Anyways, terms for the day.